There is a major problem with almost every major blockchain out there right now, and almost no one is talking about it. In this video, I want to share with you what that major problem is and how the XRP ledger actually addresses it. The XRP ledger is very different from almost every major blockchain out there, and I believe it is the key feature we're going to talk about in this video that makes the XRP ledger perfect for mass adoption from the largest institutions out there. Guys, this is something that almost no one is talking about right now, but is absolutely critical to the XRP ledger's success going forward. In this video, we're going to go over that core feature and why the XRP ledger was designed right from the start. I believe this is so important to understand when it comes down to the investment thesis behind XRP, so make sure to stick around for this whole thing. Like always, your support means so much to this channel. Thank you to everyone who likes these videos and subscribes to the channel. These two simple things really do help me out so much. Also, if you ever need a place to buy some XRP, make sure to check out my favorite exchange Uphold down in the description of this video. With that said, let's jump right into it, and I hope you guys enjoy the content. So the major two types of networks out there right now are proof of work networks and proof of stake networks. There are different kinds of networks out there, but the majority in the top 10, the major blockchains, are either proof of work or proof of stake. Now, in both of these networks, essentially validators are providing their validation power to the network, and as a result, they are rewarded with a token. They have a monetary incentive to provide their resources to the network. Now, this is how most major blockchains are structured. People who provide their computing power, their validation power, get a reward. The XRP ledger is very different, and this has caused a lot of controversy over the years, but I believe is one of the XRP ledger's biggest strategic benefits. On the XRP ledger, no incentive is the best incentive. And what that means is people providing validation power don't actually get rewarded. This is completely different than the Bitcoin and Ethereum example, but I think it is absolutely critical to the structure of a successful blockchain. In the Bitcoin and Ethereum example, essentially the network is paying people to come provide validation services to secure the network. They are giving out monetary incentives to provide power to the network. In the XRP ledger's case, that doesn't happen. The theory behind the XRP ledger network is people will provide validation power to the network purely because the XRP ledger is a useful tool. You don't need to be paid a monetary incentive to do this. Now, these are two completely different ways of thinking, and I want to talk about the pros and cons of each. In the Ethereum and Bitcoin example, you get a lot more validators. You have a lot more grassroots people looking to contribute validation power to the network for their own monetary incentive. Now, that last part is key. A lot of people contributing validation power to these networks don't actually care about the network itself, but instead only care about them being paid out for their services. In the XRP ledger example, you actually don't really have this. Everyone providing validation power to the network cares deeply about the protocol, cares deeply about the success of the protocol, and is providing that validation power because they care about the long-term success of the XRP ledger. Now, this can either be XRP ledger enthusiasts, people who are running projects on the XRP ledger and therefore need the XRP ledger to be robust, or people using the XRP ledger for its core functionality. So say a major banking institution like Bank of America built a stablecoin on the XRP ledger. Well, they want to make sure the XRP ledger is as healthy as possible, so they might provide validation power. They also might want to contribute to the future of direction of the XRP ledger and want to be able to vote on amendments. That would be another example. They might want to actually run a validator on the XRP ledger and contribute to its health. But what you'll notice is the XRP ledger actually garners higher quality validators, because all the validators coming to the XRP ledger need to be providing that validation service for the benefit of the network itself, rather than for the benefit of their own monetary incentive. These are two completely different drivers to the security of the network. But one thing is so important to understand. A lot of people have made the point that more validators means more security. And while in some ways this might be true in a sense, it doesn't necessarily dictate the result. What do I mean by that? Well, the XRP ledger has been up and running since 2012, before Bitcoin, and the XRP ledger has almost never been down. Now, in this time, there has never been an incentive to provide validation power to the XRP ledger. So regardless of what people say about decentralization, yes, the XRP ledger has less validators, but having less validators has not made it more vulnerable. And in fact, the XRP ledger has been one of the most secure blockchains out there. So that begs the question, if more validators and providing a monetary incentive to secure the network doesn't actually make your network more secure than a network that isn't doing that, what's the point of actually providing incentives for validation power? Is it just a waste of resources? And I believe this is the fascinating question I really want to address in this video. And that question is do you actually need to provide validators a monetary incentive to secure the network? And what are the downfalls of doing that? We just talked about what the perceived benefit is of rewarding validators. You think you get a more secure network. Now, I raised the obvious issue with that point. If the XRP ledger has been so secure for its entire lifetime and they haven't been rewarding validators, then why would you reward the validators, right? We already have security on the network. Rewarding the validators wouldn't get us any further. But let's talk about something else, and that's the core function of these networks. The core functions of these networks is to move money fast and efficiently. When you're rewarding validators, you have a middleman. You have someone sucking out the liquidity that people are putting into these ecosystems. We all know how expensive a Bitcoin transaction can be. We all know how extremely expensive an Ethereum transaction can be. The reason why they're so expensive is because there are middlemen validating the network that don't care about the success of the network, but only care about their monetary incentive. Their incentives are not aligned with the network as a whole. Instead, their incentives are aligned with making money. In the XRP example, everyone wants fast, cheap transactions because that's important to the network. The validators are not worried about arbitraging a fee out of the network. They're just focused on a healthy and efficient network because they know a healthy and efficient network makes their business run better. In the Ethereum and Bitcoin example, the people providing the validation power are doing that to make a profit, and therefore they could care less if their fee is unsustainable to the user of the token, to the user of the application. They just want to make their fee. So the incentives are not aligned. I always thought it was so interesting that people look at the revenue a network generates as a good thing. People are always talking about the Ethereum protocol revenue, when in reality, that's just value being stolen from people using the blockchain. In my eyes, it is a massive issue. Why would you want to use a payment network with massive fees if those massive fees don't correlate to more security? Like we talked about, the XRP ledger is extremely secure and has nominal fees. This is the major issue being presented to these proof of work and proof of stake blockchains. They are using a consensus model that I believe is bulky and unnecessary. But not only that, it creates compliance issues too. Imagine you're sending a transaction over the Ethereum network, and the validator that is actually sending your transaction through or facilitating that transaction is out of North Korea, is out of Russia. Well, then you just provided a payment to someone in a sanctioned jurisdiction, which is obviously a major issue. And people in the Ethereum community, people in the Bitcoin community are not focused on building compliance. One of the amendments coming to the XRP ledger is decentralized ID. This is not something that's even being thought about in these other communities. Why not? Because they are not institutionally focused. And this goes down to why these networks were built this way from the start. In the XRP ledger case, they knew large institutions were ultimately going to use these networks. They knew that eventually the large institutions using the networks would have an incentive to have a healthy network and therefore provide validation power. If you are Bank of America doing hundreds of billions of dollars of revenue a year, spinning up an XRP ledger validator is not a big deal. Therefore, they can do it easily to provide a healthy network. In the Ethereum and Bitcoin example, they were grassroots movements. They were movements to create a new monetary financial system. They were movements that were retail led. And because of that, to get retail in, to get retail to participate their finite resources, there had to be a monetary incentive. But what I am trying to tell you is that monetary incentive is only necessary for the grassroots movements, because the XRP ledger as an institutional grade blockchain hasn't needed to support these validators with a monetary incentive. And therefore, you don't have all the frictions associated with a middleman looking to profit off the system for their own benefit rather than looking out for what's best for the system as a whole. Guys, I really hope this helps you understand how far ahead the XRP ledger has been from the start. This is something almost no one in the mainstream talks about. This is something you will never hear brought up by Bitcoin and Ethereum people, and instead they actually look at the revenue created by the protocol as a benefit. I don't understand how siphoning value away from the users could ever be a good thing to provide a service that is proven as unnecessary by other blockchains. Guys, let me know what you think down in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate a like and a subscribe. With that said though, thank you so much, and for now, Mickle out.